Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another weekly installment in our ongoing conquest of the modding world, maybe you want to call it that. Today we're going to be discussing a near and dear subject to me, folding at home. And we're going to be getting into a bit of just bare minimum of what it does as far as the hardware science goes. But we have a marketing representative from the Folding at Home team with us this week who's going to give us a great look into the whys. What is the program for? Why should you do it? But before we get into that, we have Bill Owen.
Hey everybody, I'm here to fight cancer with the help of Folding at Home.
Huzzah. Cancer, Alzheimer's, and all different kinds of bugaboos. And our guest of the week is Anton. He is the marketing lead at Folding at Home.
Good evening. I'm very glad to be here.
Where are
Very
you,
nice
Anton?
to have you. Oh.
I'm actually in Sweden. So we're at 11 p.m. here in Sweden.
Oh,
okay.
well, in that case, thank you very much for joining us. That's quite late.
Go ahead, Drew.
So the basics of this is my experience in this, I should say, started back in the pimp rig days, 2003, 2004, when I first really got into the community and coming out of the shadows, really interacting with folks. I was drug into a corner of the forum by a lady by the name of Loki's mom. In case you don't know, Loki was one of our premier members of Pimp Rig, and it was obviously his mother. And for her, it was a very important thing that she tried to get as many people into as possible. Folding at Home. And it, at the time, was a program that you could run on your single CPU processor, single core processor, and it would crunch little bits of a simulation that they were trying to string together all of these little tiny bits of a folding protein to shorten the workload from what could have taken months and years on a supercomputer. And by breaking it up the way that they did, they figured out that they could spread the work among thousands and thousands of CPUs, collect the work together, and have a simulation that could have taken, again, like I said, years and years and years, and break up that workload down to weeks and weeks and get back the same science. And it was a fascinating idea for me. And unfortunately, because it was CPU bound, you couldn't get as much science out of it as today we get within minutes. And it was around that time that NVIDIA released the 7800 class and 8800 class of GPUs, that all of a sudden you had the ability to program directly to the graphics processor and start getting these massively parallel solution sets coming out. And the amount of science that the program could suddenly do just exploded. And to me, that was a fascinating thing. But then I got into questioning what is it that's going on in the background. And that is a question that still kind of drives me today, because I like to get deep into the weeds of the technology, but we're really not going to be discussing the math behind it. That part could take 6 or 7 weeks of our hourly episodes, and that's just a bit too much for us. But we're going to get more into the why should you do something like this, and it's especially for hardware hounds like I know all of our followers are. One of the biggest things that Stanford did, the Pandey group at Stanford did for us, is they gamified it. And to me, that was the biggest thing, giving you goals to attain for, giving you numbers that you could be in control of increasing. And that was a major, major thing to get people into doing this science. So I guess for me, that's, from a very brief personal point of view, that was my introduction into it. So Bill, do you want to lead off with any questions for either of us?
I've heard about folding at home for the last decade. I have had friends involved with it, but I never really knew what it was and what it's about and what you do. So, Anton, if you could kindly just explain to everybody in the same league as me, what is folding at home, and give me the history.
Yeah. Folding at home, for me, started when I was about 16 years old, and I lost my grandmother to Alzheimer's. I didn't have any funds to send to charity, so I went online, and I was looking for some way that I could help out, because the drive to helping out is what started Folding at Home. We want to find a cure for cancer, Alzheimer's, Huntington's, and various other diseases that affect people all over the world. And Folding at Home connects us volunteers directly with the scientists at Stanford, and now as well with other research institutes all over the world. So that is Folding at Home.
And what exactly is happening? I know that it's usually best if you can join a team and work as a collective, but people can also just have their PC do this while they're sleeping at night, so it doesn't interrupt any of the process that they do during the day. But what exactly is happening, and how are we helping fight these diseases?
Folding at Home started around 2000, and it was founded by Vijay Pandey, who is now a director at Stanford University. And what we're doing was explained briefly, but you're using your computer, you're using your excess computing power to download a small case that is part of a big cake. So just a small slice is sent to your computer from a big simulation. And your computer is solving this and sending back the calculations that you've done. So the big question is, how can a computer help out for cancer research? And that is the digitalization of research. Many of you have heard about big data and health data, and now on the iPhones, the information about how much you walk, etc., is being sent to universities for to make bigger analysis about how the person how the human being works. I mean, if you move, if you take your 13,000 steps per day, you should be healthy all your life. So Folding at Home is another approach of this. We're looking into the cells. We're looking into the reaction that is happening in the DNA and the RNA, and where it misfolds and unfolds and fails. And when you're looking at that detail level, you can see where cancer starts. And we're looking into where in the amino acids and the molecules, where the cancer starts, where Alzheimer's is born, because those diseases start in the very, very small reactions in our bodies. So that is what Folding at Home is looking into. And then how you digitalize that. That's basically, you're doing a lot of simulations that are very, very big. We're looking into simulations that are done in 3 different 3D simulations, and that are taking 100 million times 100 million calculations to solve, which means you have very, very big calculations to solve. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you're looking for the public to help in computing power to run these calculations.
Exactly. So that is our distributed computing. Mm-hmm. So we spread out these big calculations all over the world.
And it's just a volunteer basis by people that want to feel.
Yeah. that want to help out.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so it's been around, what, 16 years now, or 15
Yeah.
years? Okay. Now, since it started and up till today, how has folding at home made a difference?
So already folding at home has made a big difference. If you look back at 2000, it was an idea on digitalizing these calculations and doing the research on computers. So we had to develop our own models to understand this more and more. So you can see folding at home has always been like Star Trek Enterprise. We're going into the unknown, but we're going into the body. We're going into the cells. And the big things that we've done is that we've created an entire field of research, basically, that is mixing normal laboratory work together with calculations that are setting the blueprint for future scientific development of the human body, the human genome.
And how long have you been doing the folding, Anton?
I started folding at home back in 2010, and I joined the folding at home team at 2012 as a lead for our Android development. So we've developed an app that allows you to use your Android phone to join folding at home, and it looks like this. Can you see?
Where can people find that?
On Google Play.
Okay, Google Play.
And we developed it together with Sony Mobile, and it took us about 3 years because
I imagine
there are very high requirements to do scientific research on mobile phones. And we really have to minimize the corruption of data in this.
And for anybody that owns an iPhone, why isn't the app available for them?
And sadly, we've been talking to Apple, but the big issue is that Apple doesn't allow for background computing being done. So once your screen goes dark, it's not viable. It doesn't allow you to compute.
It sounds like, you know, and Droog is the one that's been educating me about folding at home. I'm like, I've heard about this long enough. I've got extra hardware. I can set up a system. I'm in a place where I have unlimited electricity. So the bill, you know, that's another concern, is that some people, they fear that the cost is their electricity bill going up. Tell us more. Is that a concern or not?
Well, it totally depends on your system. I'm running a couple of computers, and I can't see anything on my electricity bill. But compared to others, of course, you can have an impact on your bill. Totally dependent on what kind of rigs you have and what kind of architecture are on the rigs. The more modern architecture is more efficient. And when you look at your mobile phone, for one, you won't notice anything because they're very energy efficient.
Sure. But now, one thing that's, you know, you guys are mentioning, there's these teams, and people, there's the competitive element, and I get excited of the idea of making a PC that's dedicated just to folding at home, and I can see how it will become an addiction, that you're competing with other teams, right? Is that what's going on a lot with this?
Yeah, Drugno, what do you say?
Oh, yes, absolutely. If you give me a minute here, I'm going to pull up one of the sites that I find myself checking on a daily basis.
Daily basis.
Actually, some days, Bill, I check this on a 6 or 7 times a day basis. ExtremeOverclocking's folding website, they've created a long-standing database that collects many different data points. Right here, this is showing off folding at EVGA. Let's see, this is our daily performance over the last several months. No, it looks like the last month. We're coming off of a spike. What happened is, I believe it was when Stanford was updating a couple of their servers, and so it stored up a lot of the data and then dumped the results out to us, and so there was a huge artificial spike in performance. That's what you're seeing on the far left. But
this is updated daily?
This is updated 8 times a day, every 3 hours.
We should post a link in the video description for anybody who wants to refer to that and take a look at it. So, I mean, I imagine, okay, so Drew, you're on Team EVGA. Anton, are you on a specific team? Or?
Yes, I'm on our team, the Folding at Home lab.
Okay, you're the main guys. So what if somebody doesn't have a team and they're kind of like, I don't have any friends. I don't know. What do I do? Where do I join a team?
Well, so if you look at extreme overclocking, you will have a very detailed view. If you're interested, if you have a good rig and you want to compete with the best teams, we have our endless season that has been running for a long time, where Team EVGA is very high ranked.
What constitutes a good rig, Anton?
Sorry?
What constitutes a good rig? What's a good rig?
Well, if you want to be in our top, if you want to start a new team, or if you want to join a team, or if you want to compete as an individual, I think that you should be looking at 2 computers, maybe 3 970 cards.
Okay.
Connected.
3 970s in each PC, or just one PC?
Yeah.
3 9. Okay.
On each PC. What do you say, Drugner? Would you have an impact? Could you?
Actually, my recommendation, if you're looking to make an impact, you're going to want 1070s, because you're going to get much better numbers, and you're going to use a lot less electricity. And to me, that's the big thing, is you're looking for that overall bang for the buck. You want to not bankrupt yourself, but you've also got to buy a middle-of-the-road card, because there are guys, we were discussing pre-show, Barnacules. Let me pull up the stats here to show where they're sitting at. This is a team that started less than 2 months ago and have climbed into... where is he sitting at right now? I want to say he's in the 40s.
Whaler on the chat, Whaler 9999 says, any decent video card, 780 series NVIDIA or above, and equivalent AMD.
Yeah.
So that's... Otherwise,
well,
I mean, are you wasting your time if you have something smaller than that?
No. I mean, all of the science helps. Any contribution helps. The program is going to be moving away from older cards. Can you tell us what generation is going to be dropping off soon, Anton?
I don't have the details right now. Let me try to dig into this.
Okay. Well, while you're looking at that, this team here, the Barnacules Nerdgasm, they came onto the scene literally a month and a half ago, and he's got Barnacules has a huge YouTube following.
Yeah. And
he did a video featuring his main rig, which has 2 of the Titan GTXs, the big cards, Pascal. So it's the latest revision.
Oh, yeah.
And we're talking about a box that probably cost no less than $7,000 in total. And he got that put together, and just in his words, I'm going to paraphrase, basically he looked at it and realized, I've got all this hardware and all of this horsepower that's not doing anything right now.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I've got extra stuff. Instead of just sitting there on a shelf, I could be running a computer here. And like what I have, like out of the box, I've got an ITX system I can set up with a 980 GTX. Okay.
And a 980 is going to get you some very significant numbers compared to...
Will it put me in the top 5 of that chart?
No. We actually do have some heavily competitive folders who will spend tens of thousands of dollars.
How many people are on that chart? on extreme overclocking? How far down does it go? To what place?
Let me see here. The all users list, and then if we go all the way out, so it's got 5,886 pages of over 100 people each.
All right.
And not all of these are active folders, mind you.
Okay, sure.
But he's currently tracking the stats for 1,170,000.
So Nerdgasm, it's not just his PC, it's his collective and his team.
Right.
That's put him there. And how many people, does it say how many people are on his team?
Yeah, give me a minute, just a moment to get back here.
What I wanted to say is that we recently added monthly leaderboards. So
and that was very nice to see. That's something that we've been, it's nice to have these external sites like ExtremeOverclocking, but to know that the official team is tracking it for us also. That's fantastic.
Anton, what about the app on the phone? Does that show these type of listings too, how people rank?
We, in collaboration with Sony, we were looking at, will you have an impact with your phone? You will have an impact with your phone. And we're looking at the phones as an introduction to folding at home. I mean, if you want to learn more before you engage the big rig, download the app and check it out. The phones aren't even in parallel. They're not even in the same universe, but they are becoming stronger and stronger. Mm-hmm. So our phones are actually connected to Google Play. So you will have you will get your achievements on your phone, and you will have a separate system running the leaderboards on the phones. But you can also add a lot of phones to your Google Play account. And we have some folders that are running about 200 phones at the same time.
Wow.
And so that's also a bit competitive.
Did you say 200 phones running it? Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you're on the go and you're folding. You're folding on the move. That's great, man. Whaler.
Well, I will have to say that to make the mobile phone run, you will have to have your charger in, full batteries, and a Wi-Fi. Because we don't want anyone to lose their battery power on the run.
And something that you started with the mobile phone that if I'm remembering correctly, that you're looking at bringing over to the PC side is that you're going to be doing smaller packets of data returning constantly to the server instead of waiting for the work unit to complete, which I thought was a great idea because it allows for that data just to accumulate so much more rapidly.
Yes, and say that you're working, you have your office computer where you're not allowed to run folding at home. You can always run folding at home in your browser. And together with Google, we developed an app that is running in your browser called Folding at Home NACL. I can send you a link to that. You can actually be running right off the bat. You don't have to install anything.
And Bill, to answer your question about barnacles, it's right here in this section that I just highlighted. Right now, he's got currently 1,483 people.
Okay. Okay, we've got right in the chat, we've got one of his team members, and we've got an individual, Whaler 9999 from Linus Tech Tips. E. Pearson is on Team Barnacles. Okay, Anton, what if I want to start a new team? What do I do?
Just register your new team, and you will have a team name. You will get a number for your team, and you will get yeah, that's it.
Just go to the main Folding at Home forums to register, or do I go through the main site to register?
And if you give me a moment, Bill, I will show you the link.
Okay.
Great.
All right. So Anton, well, but why don't you guys, both you guys, guide us through, or Drew, okay, we just watched the Modzu Hangout. I want to download this app and try it out, see what it's all about. So we're on the main site where we find this download, and can you guide us through the steps in installing it? Is it easy to do?
Dead simple.
All right. So start folding, it says.
Yep. And it will automatically go through and read from your browser what operating system you're running, and it'll tell you exactly what the most appropriate. So it says right here for Windows, all versions. And you just click download. It'll pop up the little, you know, whatever the download icon, yeah, whatever browser you're using, it'll pull up the download folder window. Just hit your save file. It's not showing on the share right now because it's a separate window. But
Well, everyone in chat, let's just for fun, I'm going to do it too. Let's just all download it together.
and you also have the option where it says the see all downloads. You can dig down into, say you want to download for a version of Linux that you need to move it to that PC for. Then you've got 32-bit and 64-bit, the different package types for Linux.
So somebody, again, the nice thing about it is that you can download this. You don't have to build a whole new PC to do this. You can use your existing, you can use your laptop, or you can use your PC, and it'll allow you to set it up to run while you're not using your PC. So when you go to bed at night, and it's done by the morning when you get up, right, guys?
Yep.
Yep.
And you also have the option too, when you're installing it, or after you've installed it, more to the point. Let me change what I'm sharing here for just a second. And you can configure inside the software, right here, and trying to find it. There is your folding core priority. You can actually set it so you have it folding in the background, and it will use up as little processing power as possible, or you can have it step forward just a little bit, and so you'll start to see a little bit of twitching inside Windows as you're using the computer. But you can also
get hot too, aren't they? We start.
Yeah, it can get quite warm during the winter. Folding at home is a great way to
keep the room warm.
That was something that we discovered. Depending on what the oil prices are doing here in Maine, is sometimes it might be simpler for me just to kick a couple of computers on and let them fold for a little while and cheaper on us.
And do good at the same time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Whaler says he uses it to heat his apartment, he says in the YouTube chat.
Yep.
And there's an agreed that you have to address, you know, your cooling and also filtration in your PC. If it's going to be running this stuff, is that you're going to create, you know, more intake of dust in that. So make sure you've got good filtration going on.
Yeah, you don't want your video cards to choke up on this while you're folding. That will cause some definite hardware damage.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, listening to this, it reminds me a lot of like bench racing or like drag racing in a way, you know, and you want to get up on that leaderboard because that's where your street cred is, right? Getting up in that board, right?
Yeah, and you can do that as an individual folder as well. Looking at the monthly stats, if you're putting in some weight, you will get noticed. I do want to remind people that we're only showing the top 100 teams and individual users, but you can. We've added so you can track yourself, so you can see where you are. You're not a top 100 user.
Anton, do you have some advice or tips for somebody that, as an individual, wants to try to get into that top 100?
I would say Drugner would. How would you confidently?
What are we looking at for an investment? 10,000? 10,000?
To get onto the top of that leaderboard, yeah, that's a multiple system way of doing it. The folks at the top, once you get above, well, let me give you an example. I have fought for several years to climb my way into the top 70 of the #1 team on the planet. I at one point was in the top 50, but when the new hardware started getting released a few years ago, the 970 class, 900 class of NVIDIA cards, I started getting bumped back down quite rapidly. And I'm doing good, I think, in my mind, to stay within the top 70 at this point. And I'm not able to, for financial reasons, to fold 24/7. But I do fold for quite a few days out of each month as I'm available to. And even doing that with the numbers that I can get from these 1070 cards, I'm still fighting to hold into that section that I am at. To get to the top of the top, however, it's almost an exponential growth. You get into the top 20 and you're suddenly seeing numbers that tell me that somebody is running 5 or 6 computers with 4 cards each, and we're not talking small cards. These are the big dog, big money cards.
Yeah, we have some system administrators that are enslaving big servers to reach the top numbers.
I've run into people who periodically will come into the EVGA forum and tell us that they're bringing 400 PCs online and they need to burn them in. And so they ask us to help them, what's the best configuration they should use. And that's an interesting bump in numbers right there when you watch an entire data center come online and fold for your group for a week.
There is go ahead.
I can tell you on the mobile phone, the user that is running 200 mobile phones, that is not a private user. He's actually stress testing mobiles for Samsung.
Oh, wow. Well, that's great. That's a great way to do it.
Yeah, that's a really nice way.
All right. About a few weeks ago, I stumbled across, maybe when I was Droog and I first talked about this, and I did a little bit of research. There's a guy on YouTube, PC Shed. He's in England. Have you heard of him? And he does fold in at home, and he talks about his systems. And he's actually got a shed in his backyard loaded with systems running, folding at home. It's really impressive. He's just got like piles of GPUs. I'll see if I can find the video and share it. Well, tell us about your system, Anton. What are you using?
I'm running. Well, I've killed my old rig, and I'm running a new Asus ROG laptop because sadly I'm moving so much that I don't have a rig set up. But I'm using my gaming laptop, and it's doing very nicely with the 970M card.
Very nice.
So it's very viable for people with laptops as well. Just go for it. I also have a MacBook Pro, and that is pulling out some good numbers. But if you have when you get a 3D card, a GPU dedicated for it, it's just another thing, because what we noticed is that the GPUs, we got into that many years ago, when we saw that the GPUs actually are very, very good for these kind of calculations. And so now we're collaborating a lot with NVIDIA, and so our software is very in line with the graphics cards that are released on the market.
And to give you an example of the difference between. Oh, we're getting some echo feedback here. Okay. I've got at work some machines that I babysit on a daily basis just because that's what I do at work. And I've got 10 of them total, and I get on average 10,000 points per day on single CPU. Well, now they're 4-core CPUs, so they're doing some parallel work, but it's not massive. Right now, on my desk, I've got a single 1070 going that I'm going to try to show a visualization on here. Okay. And that single 1070 is pulling 607,000 points per day right now.
And that's pretty respectable?
That is considered to be extremely good.
Really good.
For a single PC. And if I were to fire up the second card, not only would it wreak havoc on our feed because part of the processing is through the graphics card, but it would double that.
How about you guys that are in the chat that do folding? Share your specs, like what type of systems you guys are running, and what type of points. Is it points you guys?
Points.
Okay. Yeah, just out of curiosity so we can see. I did find that video too of this guy. It's called PC Shed. Everybody, you need to check out this video sometime. He's in England, and he's literally got a shed full of PCs running, folding at home. Let's see here.
Oh, there we go.
Does this guy? Do you recognize this guy, Anton?
Yeah, I've seen the video, and it's very nice to see. I like his shed.
Yeah, he's got it's just loaded with hardware, and look, he's got. Well, he describes the cards that really worked well and the ones that didn't, and he just filters through what hardware recipes work the best, and you can't help but love it because obviously it's really all about the hardware, and he's like a drag racer. He's trying to build these systems to get up in the rankings. I don't know. I mean, can you guys take a peek to see where PC Shed is in the rankings currently, maybe?
Let me take a quick look here. And depending on how it's PC.
And the systems too, he's made modifications too, where he's got like the power supplies are outside of the system on these two of these builds here.
PC Shed used to fold for custom PC and BitTech, but has not shown any points for almost a year.
Well, so he could have been doing an article on folding at home and built these systems for the article. Then maybe
could have.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't.
All right.
Unless that's there's another user under or another spelling for it.
Yeah, it could be. You have to be very precise to find it.
Yeah,
like
EOC is very difficult.
We're talking about here.
Okay, you can stop.
But for the people who are interested in the science behind folding at home, I can tell you that we published a lot of articles, and we've been featured in Nature Chemistry, etc. We also have. If you're looking at recognition for our work, you can 2013. Michael Leavitt from Stanford University, that has been a mentor for Vijay Pandey, he actually got a Nobel Prize in chemistry for the ground research, the ground models that he did to digitalize these kind of structural biology and chemistry that laid the foundation for what we're now using for folding at home and keep developing. So there is a Nobel Prize in the background, and what we're also seeing is that when you're donating your computing power and you're part of our community, we don't know where the next Nobel Prize will be, but it could be folding on your computer right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Drew, is that yours running right now on your systems?
Let's see if it goes out through the video stream correctly, but yeah, this is what it looks like when you pull up the built-in visualization, and you can manipulate the model as it's folding, and I haven't really sat and watched it long term, but I have seen accelerated time lapses where you watch the structures coalesce and then fall apart and then come back together again. And in an older video interview that Professor Pandey did, there's a lot of data that you're not seeing in this model that it would just really clutter things up too much for you to see. Like you don't see the field of water that the molecules are floating in the calculations, and it's not really showing the different bonds that the calculations are calculating with every millisecond. But the amount of math that is going through this right now is just astounding once you actually start to look below that surface layer.
Let me ask you, the background with Scott, the map, is that live, that map, or is that just static? That's always that. That doesn't
That's
actually.
just a static,
Okay,
yeah.
that's just static. Okay. By the way, Fierce Bombshell just came into the chat, and she says, "I don't have any good hardware nor internet connection, but I'm open to help out via social or networking for folding at home." So, Anton,
Wonderful.
that could be somebody that you could recruit. Maybe because she doesn't have good enough hardware, maybe some people can help her out if she wants to fold at home. Maybe some people can donate her some stuff.
Yes, that would be wonderful. And she is also very welcome to spread the word of folding at home. We recently launched a campaign to reach 1 million active folders, and we call it I'm One in a Million. I'm gonna release the link on.
I like that. Can I get the T-shirt?
Oh,
okay.
they don't want us to link on YouTube.
Yeah. Anton, where can Fierce Bombshell find you to connect in regards to helping out? Oh, is that your email, or?
No, that's our homepage.
Oh, that's your homepage.
We have our new site that we launched last week as well.
Fierce Bombshell. Okay, just an FYI, everybody. Anton runs the Folding at Home Twitter page and the Facebook fan page, so they could reach out to you through those channels, follow you, and or tweet at you that they want to get involved, and then you can have a correspondence over direct message.
Yes. So put up a tweet and hashtag it with Folding at Home, and I'll find it, and we can connect. Or if you rather go on Facebook and find us there, just I'm running the site on Facebook as well. So just connect there, and we'll get you set up. We recently launched this campaign, and we had Barnacles running our first main story, why he's folding and why he's doing folding at home. And we're up to 46,000 views on the video. So that's good.
That's good. Yeah. And you have to, well, my father works for Medtronic, and he's been there for over a decade. And last night I was out with him, and I said, well, tomorrow we're going to do a folding at home hangout. And he goes, what's folding at home? And I'm like, well, wait, you don't know what folding at home is? I think that's your biggest challenge, isn't it? Is just educating the public more about what it is.
Indeed, and you have to keep it simple, and especially for social media, we're developing a new strategy where we're shorting everything up, and it's basically you join folding at home to cure cancer, you join folding at home to cure Alzheimer's, whatever of the big diseases. Come in, look at our community, read about the articles that we've released and the papers, and get into the science if you're interested in that, or hook up your computer and join us.
Aren't you guys, you're going to try a first time ever a promotion at the end of this month, right? Aren't you doing some type of contest promotion?
Oh, no. That's our team EVGA.
Oh, EVGA is. Oh, and what are they doing, Droog?
Well, that's our own version of the outreach.
By the way, Droog, you're breaking up, man. You better throttle back on your folding.
Let me kill that here.
You can dedicate a rig as well.
There we go. Well, the thing is I do these video hangouts on the same rig that I fold on normally. Yeah. So I try to make sure that I'm not running it at the same time. So has that gotten it better?
Yeah, a little bit better. Yeah.
All right. So Team EVGA, not directly tied into EVGA, the company. No, we're just using a sub portion of their forum. Every so often, we'll get together and we'll have an in-team folding competition. And we use this as a way to drive outreach. Once again, we try to get our community members to reach out to non-community members to bring them into the fold, as it were. And it was, in this case, we're doing what we call the time zone challenge, where everyone who signs up gets assigned to either one of the primary four North American time zones, or we have a bucket for other, which is the global groupings. And last year we ended up having the other teams, anyone who was in Central, Mountain Time, Pacific, and other, all folding against the Eastern Time Zone because we had such a heavy grouping of Eastern Time Zone folders. And what it is, it's a sprint to see which collection can get to 350 million points first. And what we do in order to keep it going for the science, however, is if you want to be considered for the pool prize at the end of the contest, you've got to fold the entire time it takes for the slowest team to reach, to cross that finish line. And that way we hope that we create a spike in the math that's going out and into the science, and we maintain that flow all the way until everyone on our team has achieved that goal for however long it takes. And because of the new hardware that's come out, it'll probably either we're going to raise the end goal, or it's just going to be a shorter time. But one of the things that we're doing this year that we haven't done before is our very, very, very generous members have started a prize pool to purchase several of the GTX 1070 cards to be distributed amongst the winners at the end. And I think right now we are up to 5 cards that have been purchased, or at least we have the funds to be able to purchase at the end. And let's see here. The donation pool.
Anton, is there a lot of other teams that are doing incentive programs like this too?
Yes, and that's one of the strengths of folding at home. We have a very diverse community, and in the core we have the IT engineers and the gamers. We also have PCMR, which is PC Master Race. That is a big subreddit, and they've their topic, their pin topic is folding at home.
That's great.
They're also joining and have their own team.
I'm just going to go ahead and do a screen share of the sign-up site here. And
Whaler says we give out various custom badges on our form for folding milestones.
Did that.
And that's wonderful, and that's really the thing. It's our core community that is driving folding at home.
And so if you go to the Team EVGA forum under distributed computing and then folding at EVGA, that's where our folding team is. But we also do have other distributed programs that our team supports, which the Boink program, which is another one that does different styles of science. It's not all protein folding that try to use distributed computing like this, but I'm focused mostly on the folding at home program because that's where I started. Under that, there is a 2016 time zone challenge thread, and that is where you'll find our little discussion about the contest, and you can go here, sign up. We've got several different links for doing prize donations. You can take a look at the donation pool. Like I said, I think we're up to enough money to get 5 or 6 video cards that we're going to give out at the end of the competition. And we've also been using these as some of the prize pools. On average, you end up with people who will get a really nice motherboard or a slightly older but still really nice video card. And we've been doing it to pay forward, give out something to draw somebody in, and your old hardware has life that way.
This might be, Fierce Bombshell, if you're still watching, that may be a good avenue, is to join that EVGA forum, introduce yourself, and let them know that you're interested in getting involved and you feel your hardware isn't really up to snuff. Is it okay to be on multiple teams, or do you have to only stay on one team? Can you be on multiple teams? Or I suppose if you had multiple PCs, you could have each PC on a different team?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can basically, as much hardware as you can afford, you can support as many teams as you want.
Hmm. Cool. And there's teams all around the world. That's what's great about it.
And another one that actually I want to call out is a team that Patrick Norton and Robert Heron started back in the old DL.TV days. It's still holding strong at 18th position on EOC, which was really cool to see when I was doing my research. And this is a team that they started, I want to say it was around 2004, 2005.
Just catching up here in the chat, Whaler mentioned that he describes his system. I have a water cooled 1080, dual 780s, dual 560s, and a 960. I can generate about 2 million ppd. Now that fall is here, we'll be starting them all up soon. Because of the cooler temps, obviously, and then have a few PCs running at work running NaCl. What's NaCl, guys?
Sodium chloride, which, if I'm remembering correctly, the code base is salt or something along those lines. And
Yeah,
so
that's correct. But I think he's referring to our client that is running on the Chrome browser.
yeah, the code base for that browser app is based on, it's called salt. And so NaCl is the chemical code, sodium chloride for salt.
Let me ask you this. So EVGA has been mentioned. NVIDIA has been mentioned as being involved. Is there any other hardware manufacturers that are involved with folding at home, guys?
Yes, we recently got in contact with Corsair.
Good. I like
as
Corsair.
well. AMD has also been around for a long time and collaborating with them. And we also have partnerships with Google and Dell. But yeah, our core is in the GPUs.
Yeah. It does. So since it's really GPU centric, it doesn't matter so much what processor people are running or how much memory they have, guys. Does it make a difference?
It's not so much processor bound anymore. As long as you're folding on GPU anyway, it takes a single core in order to balance the workload if you've got multiple GPUs. And so you'll see that you'll have one core that gets spiked up to 75% when you're running folding on multiple GPUs. But that's just the maintenance work. It's moving the data into the card, taking the data that's been processed and writing it out to the hard drive.
Drew, have you ever, since you have two 1070s, do you ever like game on one card and have the other one still running folding at home? Can you do that? Have you tried that? Can people do that?
I've done it accidentally, actually. When you're running multiple cards, one of the biggest things that we stress on well, not the support forums, but our
I think we lost him to the computing.
Did he throttle back like I told him to? He may not.
No, but I have to mention, even if you don't have, like, I'm running on a MacBook Pro. You're very welcome to join the team, even if you don't have like GPUs. But if you want to go up and compete with the top teams and or the top users, you're going to be looking at some heavy rigs with GPU intensive.
Now, I'm not sure, people, if the live stream, we just lost Droog. His connection died. I don't know if our live stream is still running. Not. He's coming back. I would presume it is. It happens, It's Google Hangout, everyone. It's not perfect. It's free. What do you expect? What is the name of the team that we can join, Anton? That we can like run on our Apple notebooks or whatever?
Well, you don't have to join a team if you don't want to. But if you're into looking at teams and you have your bloggers, you can look into Linus Tech Tips has his team. As I said, PC Master Race have their team. EVGA have their team. So we have different teams connected to the communities that you're already into or interested in joining.
Oh, cool. Droog, welcome back. Unmute yourself.
We also have schools in
there we
different parts of the country that are running their teams. So we have a big cluster of schools in Michigan that are running a team together.
Oh, that's cool.
It's very interesting because they're using their school notebooks to
Oh,
follow.
that's great. Yeah.
And also educating themselves into
Yeah.
structural biology and chemistry.
That's great. I'd love to see the schools do that here in Minnesota. Have you been to the States, Anton?
Yes, I travel back and forth because we have a lot of our partnerships are in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So this is your full-time job then?
Well, it is not, but I like to work a lot. But it could possibly be.
So what are you doing for a career then?
I'm wondering myself what I'm doing for a career. No, but my strength lies in the strategic partnerships and IT development.
Okay, cool. I love the fact that you're from Sweden because I work a lot with fractal design. Are you familiar with fractal design?
I am, but I haven't been in contact with them regarding Folding at Home at this stage. But I should.
Well, I can connect you with them.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah. Have you ever seen or used any of their hardware?
I've seen their hardware in stores, but I haven't used any of the hardware at this stage.
Whereabouts in Sweden are you?
I'm actually in Gothenburg, which is the second largest city.
If I'm not mistaken, I think their headquarters is there or around there.
Could it be?
Yeah, well, we can talk outside of the stream, and I'll get you connected with them, because I think it would be great.
But we also have some smaller companies that have approached Folding at Home now lately that are interested in doing it as their social impact or CSR, as it's being called. And I think that's wonderful. I mean, it's something that if you have a small business and everybody leaves their rigs and go when they go home, you can just let it fold.
Absolutely, and that's again why I've got my electricity is covered under my monthly lease, and I'm like, I'm not limited to. I'm so like, why not? Anyone out there, do it. Yes, yeah. And because the reality is, we've all been touched by cancer in our family or friends in some way in our life. So, and Alzheimer's as well. My grandfather is 94 years old, and we can see he's starting to slip into that tunnel.
Yeah.
So just whatever you can do.
I lost my grandmother to the same thing. And
how old was she?
Well, she was in her 70s, so that's pretty young for being a Swedish old lady. But the last years were really, there wasn't the connection. You couldn't have and we lost her basically, and she was alive and you could talk to her, but it wasn't the person wasn't there anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's the things that we want to eradicate.
Absolutely. I think really everyone can relate to that. And it's a great excuse to build a new system or revive an old system that's just sitting there doing nothing. Why not have it help? So yeah, I mean, we'll go ahead and close out because Drew can't get in for some reason. But anything you want to leave us with in closing, Anton?
So even if you don't have a strong rig, or if you're gaming a lot on your rig, download Folding at Home and use it, let it run, and utilize your excess computing power. If you don't have a computer, use your mobile phone. And if you're more into social media, you're more than welcome to spread the word of Folding at Home and join our campaign. Just make a short video and tell your friends and family why you're doing Folding at Home, and just put it up on YouTube, and we'll connect it to our playlist.
Yep, right on. And if you want to find Folding at Home via social media, Folding at Home on Facebook, and then Folding at Home on Twitter, is there anywhere else people can find you?
Yeah, you can find us on Reddit as well. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay. And in closing, I want to mention that mmpctech.com, my business, for anyone that's into folding or watched this video and gotten educated about it today, please share this video. And this is going to be a great reference for people that don't know so much about it. Drew, do we have you back?
Briefly.
Yeah,
So.
There you are. Okay. Yeah. I wanted to mention that on mmpctech.com, we've got a voucher code for 15% off that you can use. And all you have to do is enter in folding for the voucher code, and you get 15% off your order total. So if you're looking for a reason to build a new rig, or you need better fan filters or fans or any kind of stuff, in regards to this topic today, to kind of get people motivated and excited to delve into folding at home, we're going to offer this discount, 15% off. And like I said, I've got a system here. It's waiting to be built for this. And Drew and I will probably revisit this topic again down the road once I'm in it, and we'll try to recruit more people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is something that I've been doing heavily for years, and I'm going to keep doing for as long as I can.
All right. So you want to close this out then, Drew?
Well, as long as my connection stays up long enough for me to do this properly. So you can find us at themodzu.com. I'm going to shortcut because my system's been flaking out for the last 10 minutes. Basically, as usual, this is a modding show. So you guys get out there and find that one thing that's been bugging you, computer or part of your car or whatever. Right now, I'm thinking my internet needs a good modding session. And just change it around, man. And this time around, add some power to your computer and throw some folding at home at it. You know, get out there and fold something this time, would you? Have a good one, guys.
Are you able to close it out?
It says it's stopping. Is it gonna? Or am I going to be stuck perpetually broadcasting?
Google Hangout Go for or Groundhog Day. Yeah. Wow.
So,
all right, man. Yeah, we'll like I said in closing, Anton, we'll revisit this. We'll see how many people actually watched and tried it out, and we'll bring this up again. We can make this a reoccurring topic, you know, like every 4 months or so.
Yeah, you're welcome to get back to us if you have any more questions and look through our forums, etc. But I think that you should start your own team.
I might. I might do that. It would be cool. Or, you know, Drew and I, we're part of the Mod Zoo. I think that would make the most sense, is that as a collective,